Hello, my gorgeous friends, and welcome to Art and Cocktails. In this video, I want to ponder about the value of art and creativity beyond careers, beyond sales, and beyond sort of surface level things. Now, all of those things are important, and I'm also a very ambitious person. I think abundance and security is definitely wonderful for artists, but this is not a conversation about that. I recently recorded an episode about personal update and how I've been going through some burnout. And I mentioned that I had a show in Chicago. And this morning, my gallerist, Alan, texted me and he shared all the paintings that were sold. And that was so exciting. And it makes me feel really validated and grateful, especially because right now, at the time of recording this, things are not really that stable in the markets in the world, right? There's wars, there's economic turmoil, there's a lot going on, there's an election. So I have to keep those things in mind when things feel like they're not coming as easily to me. However, like I mentioned before, this episode is not about making money or selling art, but rather the deeper meaning. And a long time ago, when I first left my day job, and actually before that, I made a commitment to myself to pursue this path no matter what. Whether I had a day job, whether I was making sales or not, I just wanted to full-heartedly commit to this path. And that is what's been keeping me going, a promise that I made to myself. And each season looks very different. Some seasons I'm passionate, I'm showing up every day, and I'm really full of energy. And right now I'm a little bit tired, so I'm coming in a few times a week, kind of doodling in the morning and just taking my time. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I recently have been starting my day with these watercolor sketches, which are really therapeutic to me. I don't even know if I'll ever sell them, or I just post them on my Instagram and my Substack. And it's been really, really healing for me to have my coffee. And there's something really magical about just water and pigment on paper. I can't explain it. You just have to try it. You don't even have to make anything official, but just that whole motion is super healing for me. And I've recently had a few experiences where I had people reach out to me about my work. And some of them were deeply personal, and some of them were even tragic. I met someone at the opening who were telling me about a place they used to visit when they were younger, or a house that they grew up in, and how my work reminds them of those feelings, space, and the energy of it, right? Could be the colors, could be the textures. And so it really left me thinking more about why I create and whether or not I ever become like an international superstar success or not. How important it is that we all keep showing up and keep creating. And I also had a few experiences where I was able to give paintings to friends because I have a little bit extra time right now, and I had some ability to make work for them, personal events, milestones, and even heartbreaking events. And this whole experience, after pushing so hard, after getting ready for multiple shows, and of course, hoping that my work sells, we all do. There's nothing wrong with that. We all want our art to find homes for whatever reason, and there's nothing wrong with needing to pay the bills. But I'm in a really comfy place right now where I have the ability to think, to plan, to play and experiment, and also pausing of this kind of grand production hyper schedule that I was on for the past year. And the moments that I'm experiencing with people that are not from pressure, they're nothing to do with my business or my career, these deep, meaningful conversations we're having about memory or a feeling or a symbol. Art is very symbolic, right? Like a rainbow, for example, can be a symbol of hope for people. It can also be a symbol of pride. It can also be a symbol of a lost child. So whatever, we all have different associations and different symbols that we interpret through visuals and through art. And in the book, Art as Therapy, I remember reading this book a few years ago, and the authors talked about how art is not only healing for me, the artist, or you, the artist, but it's also helping the viewer understand and pinpoint their emotion, their experience, and their thoughts. How beautiful is that? And I'll link the book in the notes below so you can check it out for yourself. But through these moments of deep reflection and romanticizing my practice once again, without a rush, without an agenda, without any purpose, rather just to create, I've been able to find such beautiful connections both with my community and also with myself. I started to notice what I like and don't like about my work so that I can focus on the things that bring me the most joy. I also found that the more I identified the pleasure and the moments of peace and mental self-care that my art practice gives me, the easier it has been for me to just simply show up without writing it down on my agenda. I did not need a reminder to get up in the morning, and it was like 5 a.m. and all I wanted to do was just play with watercolor. So something magical happens when we take the pressure off and when we allow ourselves to connect with the act of creation. I believe, and this is just my faith, whatever my faith is, you can have your own. I think it's all beautiful and it's all totally valid. For me, I do believe that God, the universe, is a creator. We're constantly seeing new stars. Trees are always growing. Plants are always growing. We're discovering new species of animals and birds. And there's so much beauty. And every night when I walk the dog, we see the sunset, and it's different. It's a masterpiece every single night. So I believe that there's something deep within us that wants to continue creating. Maybe not for show or not for monetary gain, but rather just for the sake of creation. And from that place, when we connect with that part of us that just wants to make something, then all the magical connections and opportunities and career growth can happen as well. But I think it always has to start with this really fundamental instinct to want to make something, to bring something forth, and to pull the gifts, thoughts, ideas, and kind of seeds that are within us. And I'm thinking about this a lot because there's a lot of pressure sometimes because I am a full-time artist, and sometimes I get really confused. One day I really want to continue working with galleries and move up in the art world, and some days I want to move to a remote cabin and just paint for myself and live a really simple life. The reality is it's probably going to be somewhere in between, a little bit of both, but I think it's important to listen to yourself in each season, because each season might also change. So the purpose of me sharing this with you is not to say that we shouldn't sell work, because obviously I'm celebrating some beautiful, incredible sales and success of my art career right now, which allows me to rest and to come up with new ideas for the future and to continue showing up for both myself and my community and my collectors, but also the magic that you're offering your collectors. I mentioned that some of my collectors bought my work for very sentimental, personal reasons. And to quit when things get tough, to quit when the market seems slow, to quit when someone didn't buy our work or Instagram is acting out and the algorithm isn't showing our stuff to anyone, would be such a massive disservice to the people who might find healing, joy, and hope in your creations. So I just want to encourage all of us to find a pace that we can keep going at, to treat this like a marathon, to treat this like something we do when we water plants. We don't grumble and say, oh, I have to water my plants again. No, you want your plants to thrive, so you're going to water and fertilize them whenever you can. And this also reminds me of the fact that there is so much to explore within ourselves in this life. There is no rush. And I want to call out any sort of feeling that you may get from society or from social media, from the news and the market, that there's a rush, the time is running out. If you ever feel this messaging that you must push yourself and strive and try harder, I would be very cautious and mute those sources. They're very harmful to our creativity. They're very harmful to our practice. And what they end up doing more than anything is clouding our unique vision, which can actually lead us to our dreams of success and recognition. And instead, we go into a nervous system hyperdrive, trying to pump out more work, trying to sell more, trying to get the attention of the next it gallery. And instead, try to minimize those voices and listen to your own voice instead. From my experience, my inner voice and my intuition has never led me astray in my work. I remember a mentor telling me that no one is ever going to buy paintings of bedrooms or pink paintings, and I'm so glad I didn't listen. Not that that's the only thing I paint, but I just remember being like, something is off. Your gut, your intuition knows what you need to do next. Sometimes it takes a few days or weeks to really listen in, tune out the noise, tune out the chaos and the stress and the pressure, and just be honest with yourself and say, what do I want to create next? Even if it is a pivot from what you've been doing before. And whenever I do this, whenever I follow my instincts, I usually end up finding new little niches, new pockets of success, new opportunities. And that is why this is so, so important. I hope you take this message to heart, and I hope you truly understand how valuable your work is. And the cool thing is, if you're into manifestation and law of attraction, if you're able to, even a fraction of a milligram, by how precious and valuable your contribution, your creation, your art, your writing, your music, whatever it is that you do to the world, guess what? You are going to magnetize people who also see your value. And it's almost this backwards chicken before the egg thing where we think we need other people to approve of us. We think we need other people to tell us what to do, what's going to be successful, what's going to be the next hit. When in reality, we know the truth. We know our call. We know intuitively what we're supposed to do next if we take time to listen and slow down. And by trusting that voice and knowing that we're inherently worthy of our dreams and desires, we inevitably attract the right people and opportunities into our world. It's not the other way around. So this week, I invite all of us to cultivate more respect, more gratitude for ourselves, more space, less pressure, taking any kind of noise and this opinion that you need to try harder, you need to work harder, you need to do more. Silence all that and start just showing up for you. And I guarantee you, you're actually going to be more productive because there's not going to be this distraction of what you should do or you need to do, but rather you're going to create from within and you're going to be focused and do what you need to do. I'm so excited to see what you come up with next. Trust yourself, trust your voice, and remember how powerful and valuable art is to other people. I know I love looking at art. I love reading books. I love listening to music. And if I didn't have those creations that other people were brave enough to put out, my life would be very, very dull. And I also want to remind all of you that if you start showing up, knowing that you are worthy, knowing that you have a special place in this world, you don't have to worry about opportunities anymore. And finally, something that I think about is we are so unique as artists, as creators. We're choosing a path that is not defined for us. It's so uncertain. There are no rules. There's no manual. We are figuring everything out each day. And that takes an immense amount of courage. And I highly doubt that any one of us, when we decided to pursue a life as an artist, sat down and said, I'm going to just make a bunch of easy money real quick. I'm going to become an artist. I highly doubt that. Most of us are here for a much deeper reason, whether it's our love of creation, whether it's our just like an impulse. I feel like for me, creativity is literally like I can't help it. Something needs to come out. Or maybe it's honoring someone in your life who has guided you on this path, or a combination of all the things. So let's reflect on the beautiful gifts that art gives us, both to ourselves and other people who interact with it, and find a pace to keep going at so that we don't quit. I love you so much. Thanks for watching this video, and feel free to leave a comment and ask a question. And I love connecting with you all on here, and I hope you have a beautiful day.